Welcome to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum. My special guest today is Greg Mangarelli. He's the advancement coordinator for the world's oldest rodeo, Prescott Frontier Days, Inc. And Greg, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Stuart. Good to be with you.
Great. I'm sorry it's taken us a full year to have you back on the show. We're going to have to try to get you in before the holiday season this year. And I know it's been a big year for the rodeo, a big year for you. You also run the Bucket Club, which is a special membership organization that supports the rodeo financially and through its good works here in the community. And we're entering rodeo season here June 4th. It's I know things are buzzing over at the rodeo grounds. Tell me what are we 25 days out from the first performance?
Yeah, it feels like tomorrow, Stuart. We have a lot going on. It's not unusual for us to have projects that are kind of running right up to the rodeo. This is a little unique this year because the city is doing some upgrades, which is great. We got the money from the state, and they're using that to upgrade the grandstand, the sound system, some HVAC, as you're aware of, and a few other items around the rodeo ground. So we're very excited about that.
Well, I've been out there recently for some meetings as a volunteer with the rodeo and with the foundation, and I'm looking out onto the pavilion there, and wow, it's got to be the first time 65, 70 years, or maybe even some of the seating has been there since the late 1930s.
Well, yeah, hard to say how far back. I wouldn't say the 30s. That wouldn't last that long. But let's just say there's some boards there with 5 or 6 coats of paint on them. So they've probably been there several decades. But we're getting some new composite material down that I think will be very much enjoyable for the folks in the grandstand. It's going to be red, white, and blue like it always has been. So we're happy to be preserving that. And then the sound system is going to be so much better, Stuart, because, in the past, you'll remember we had 2 big banks of speakers by the bucking chutes, and we would cast that sound all the way across the arena in hopes that everybody over there could hear it. And now we have speakers in every section. People will be able to look up into the ceiling of the grandstand structure there and see that there's speakers all down the grandstand, and it should be much better for our neighbors not getting a lot of extra sound out into the neighborhood.
I think that's fantastic because I know as a kid, I can look back and even from, let's say, the early 70s to the present, looking up on the grandstand, and you go, I think some of those sound speakers, some of those have been up there a long time. And, it's a modern stadium. It's a modern event. People come from all over to come enjoy the rodeo, the world's oldest rodeo, the 139th this year. And I think that sound's going to be remarkable for everyone attending as well as the competitors.
No, absolutely. It's going to increase the level of experience. It's such a fine balance. We want to preserve our heritage. We want to make sure we remember where we came from and honor that past. And at the same time, we got to keep up with the experience that people have, whether it's at the Arizona Diamondbacks or concerts or whatever. We need to make sure that we increase the quality of experience.
Well, and you look across the state of Arizona, sometimes we are very local. We don't think of ourselves statewide. I know that in Bisbee, the Warren Ballpark down there is known as the oldest continuously used baseball field in the United States. There's some that might say, the one in Birmingham is the oldest professional ball field. But if you think about across the United States and across Arizona, storied sports arenas, our arena here, built in the 1930s by the WPA, is one of the oldest continuously used competitive arenas anywhere in professional rodeo, let alone anywhere in Arizona.
Yeah,
and we take a lot of pride in that. That's our hometown arena.
There's nothing like, Stuart. Many times I'll be over by the bucking chutes for the opening of the rodeo, and as you know, we have a grand entry, and we
love that grand entry.
The grand entry is a tradition that will never go away, but not every rodeo does that. But we take the time to do that with the pomp and circumstance and having the flags out there, the sponsors, and But when that's done, as you know, we start with a prayer, and we all sing the national anthem together. And when that happens, and you hear those voices coming out from under that grandstand, it's undescribable. I can't describe what that's like when you see that grandstand full of people singing the national anthem. It's
magical.
It's magical.
It is.
Yeah.
And every time it gets me, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And it's a moment where you feel this community, and that is beyond the fence line of the rodeo grounds. There is a unifying factor. It is the 4th of July week. Sometimes you are there on the 4th of July, but the rodeo does such a great job of putting you in a special place, knowing it's a special week for America, for Americans, all the sacrifices made for community, and
in a very divisive world that we live in.
Right.
What you're talking about is very important, because it's a nonpartisan event. We're all Americans standing there arm in arm singing the national anthem. And it reminds me of the moment after 9/11, when you remember how united we were, that we all came together. Everybody flew their flag, and we all were grateful for our troops and the military, what they do for us, and our freedoms. And we all pulled ourselves up with our bootstraps and moved on together as Americans. And that's kind of what happens every night at the rodeo.
Well, maybe we'll take a quick break and thank our sponsors, and we're going to come back and talk about those special nights at the world's oldest rodeo in Prescott, Arizona, from June 29th to July 5th. It's Saturday, July 4th. We're going to talk a lot about that, but we have Saturday, July 4th at the world's oldest rodeo here in Prescott. It's going to be a big day for us and America. We'll be right back on Arizona Roundup. Welcome back to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum in Prescott, Arizona. My special guest today here is Greg Mangarelli, the Advancement Coordinator and leader of the Bucket Club here at the world's oldest rodeo, Prescott Frontier Days, Inc. And we've got a great rodeo coming up here this year as we celebrate America's 250. What is the theme this year of the world's oldest rodeo?
Yeah, well, as we all know, we're celebrating 250 years here in our United States. And so our theme is celebrating 250 years of freedom. And we just think it's a real natural, because we're already very patriotic, but this year it's going to be extra patriotic. And so we're really excited to do that. And so many amazing things, as you know, around town that will really be a part of that. With the parade, we have 4 different grand marshals, kind of doing a generational thing this year with Arlie Bonaha, Jim Dewey Brown, Braylon Johnson, and Brody Oles. So it's kind of 4 different generations. As you know, Arlie is a Yavapai Indian, and he was a bullfighter. And there's
remarkable bullfighter,
amazing photos that you've seen of him jumping over bulls.
Right.
He was really a national name, national recognition that he received. But he's one of our locals here, and he's going to be helping us lead the parade this year.
What I've seen him competing here in the mid 70s, because I have some really strong memories in the 70s and early 80s when they would divide that arena in half during the bull riding. And they always let those bulls linger out in the arena a little bit longer than they do today. And those clowns, that they put on a show. It was, the clowns have always been a signature part of when you go to the world's oldest rodeo. You're like, what's going to happen tonight between the clowns and the rodeo men and women out there, especially during the rough stock. But that bull riding, there's a show that gets put on, and he was famous for running straight at a bull, jumping in the air, and his foot would land between the bull's horns and leap over it onto the other side, and the bull didn't know what would happen.
Yeah, no, he was very talented, and we're so fortunate to have him leading our parade this year, and that he's a local Yavapai Indian, so look forward to having him as a part of the rodeo.
Yeah, and if we don't get it, I want to plug something throughout the show. People out there listening to the podcast who still want to come to Prescott for the world's oldest rodeo, it's June 29th to July 5th. And you can get your tickets at one place and one place only, worldsoldestrodeo.com. Is that right?
That's correct.
And there's a lot of pretenders out there, but we want to make sure everybody knows, come on out. There's going to be, we're going to talk in a few minutes here about the shuttle service. We're going to talk about the special nights, which nights still are tickets available, but worldsoldestrodeo.com. That's where you get your tickets. It's guaranteed. That's where you get your tickets. When you come to the arena for your performance that you've chosen, you're going to get in without a problem. So let's jump right into, we have themes every night. It's one of the longest rodeos over the 4th of July across America, which allows so many different participants to fly in and out, which is a modern times in rodeo world. But how are we kicking things off the first night?
Yeah, so the first night's Courier Night. So we're fortunate to partner with our local newspaper, and they subsidize tickets. And by the way, speaking of tickets, you can get tickets through the Daily Courier if you would like to come on that first night, June 29th. And I appreciate what you said about worldsoldestrodeo.com getting tickets, because I'll tell you, Stuart, I just a couple days ago went on our website, I typed in World's Oldest Rodeo, and the first 2 or 3 were pretenders.
That's right.
They were not. You have to really pay attention to what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to spend a whole lot more money and possibly get scammed. So anyway, not to belabor, but worldsoldestrodeo.com. Make sure. We've got a night for Riding for a Cure, which is our cancer night that we honor those folks that are fighting cancer or hopefully have.
And isn't that a national cause for the PRCA and as well as our local rodeo?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and we raise a lot of money for cancer research that night. July 1st is York Dodge night. A really special night is July 2nd, First Responders Tribute.
I have shed some tears that night.
We have all of our first responders in the arena with their appropriate vehicles. We'll have the ladder truck out on the west end flying the flag. Mm-hmm. So when you are sitting in the grandstand looking out to the west towards Granite Mountain, you'll see that flag flying from the ladder truck. It's quite a sight.
Very inspiring.
Yeah. On July 3rd, Jack Daniels night. They're a big sponsor, and we appreciate Jack Daniels. And then again, July 4th, during our afternoon performance at 1:30, we will do a military tribute. So we always honor not just our first responders, but our military, and we'll do that on July 4th at 1:30. And then that night, Saturday night on July 4th, will be Coors Night, and then we finish off July 5th with Pepsi. We have some great sponsors that have been with us for decades.
Right. And I know that on July 5th, that's also Old Timers, the day we honor our past men and women who participated in the rodeo going back many years. Last year, I just want to mention, I know that we just lost one of our oldest competitors, Nancy Shepard, who'd been a trick rider in the rodeo going back as far as 1949. And this year, I believe General Manager Jim Dewey Brown we're up in the game on Old Timers. Not only is everyone invited back who's ever participated, up through, I think, I don't know if it's 1985 or I forget what the cutoff is, but this year it's sixes, right? So right. You competed in 46, 56, 66, 76, 86, all the way up to the present, even 2026. If you competed, you can come to that Old Timers lunch, and we hope to really fill that room with not only the people who appreciate all of those riders, but those seeing the multi-generations together, which I think is something we're all working hard at these days, to see 3 generations together celebrating America, celebrating a community event that's helped define Prescott, define Arizona, and define the United States. And this year, you just told me during the break that one of the most storied publications syndicated worldwide on television and in print is featuring Prescott's World's Oldest Rodeo.
Yeah, that's right. So National Geographic is doing a America 250, of course, this year. Publication. Part of that publication, they highlight something from each state. And so for Arizona, they chose to highlight the world's oldest rodeo. Our local photographer, Summer Logan, took that photo, and it is in the National Geographic in that section, highlighting the world's oldest rodeo. And we are so grateful for that kind of advertisement. And, Stuart, you and I both know that it is a state treasure. And naturally, they chose the rodeo to highlight in National Geographic.
Most definitely. And, it's such a defining event. I've enjoyed the 4th of July in a number of places across America, including Williamsburg, Virginia, which I highly recommend anyone put that on their bucket list. You want to celebrate America's the 4th of July. Williamsburg is one of those places you want to do it. But if it means choosing between Williamsburg and Prescott for the 4th of July, I will always choose Prescott, Arizona. And, we've got some revolutionary ties, which we can talk about in the next segment. But I want to get back and just remind people that worldsoldestrodeo.com, and that's where you get your tickets. And I know that we have lots of tickets still for sale. And are there certain nights that we need to highlight that are definitely, I know Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Right. So I haven't gotten a report recently, but I'll tell you from experience, when you get this close to the rodeo, your good tickets for Friday and Saturday are gone. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't look around. There might be a few left there, but certainly every night is the same. We put on the same show every night, and so I would recommend looking on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights in particular. And then those afternoon shows, many times you'll find some pretty good tickets there as well. But I would definitely do that right away.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, thank our sponsors, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit about how you can make your rodeo experience this year really easy. And if you're here for 3 or 4 days, how you combine rodeo performances with other events that the rodeo is sponsoring, as well as Sharlot Hall Museum here in town that you can enjoy while visiting Prescott over the 4th of July. Welcome back to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum. My special guest today is my friend Greg Mangarelli, and we are talking all about the world's oldest rodeo, Prescott Frontier Days, Inc., and an exciting time here in Prescott. Founded in 1864, the 4th of July was celebrated here July 4th, 1864, just months after the town was named. We are going to be holding a big celebration here at Sharlot Hall Museum to complement the World's Oldest Rodeo Week. And there are all kinds of events happening during the rodeo week from the 29th to the 5th that we should talk about, and also a new free shuttle service that's going to help people's life easier getting to and from the rodeo, which you and I have talked that we've experienced this up in Cheyenne at Cheyenne Frontier Days. let's talk about this new shuttle service. It's really expanded, and I think it's going to make people's experience at the rodeo that much better this year.
Yeah, we're just trying to help people who don't want to drive, don't want to park. And so we did this last year, Stuart, and it worked pretty well. We've expanded some of the routes. So if you were a part of the shuttle service last year, that same shuttle will still run. It starts at the Residence Inn and then goes to the mall. So many people parked at the mall near JCPenney, and I'll have a flag out there so you can find it. And it's a great way to just hop on the bus there at the mall, and then it makes one more stop on your way into the rodeo, and then it'll take you home that night. So that's kind of our standard bearer. Every performance, that shuttle will run. The new ones we've got out over the weekend only, out to Prescott Valley. That one is ADA compliant, and it'll start out at 3600 Glassford Hill Road. It's kind of behind the Maverick out there in Prescott Valley. And then it'll run into the mall as well, and then all the way into the rodeo. So for folks out in Prescott Valley over the weekend, you can catch the shuttle. And then the other kind of fun one for people who are downtown here at Sharlot Hall Museum, or after the parade, you want to go to the rodeo, you can go to the parking garage. And right there on Granite Street, you'll see our flag up there. And there's several shuttles. I believe there's about 6 each performance. So plenty of shuttles. That one is dedicated to run right from the parking garage to the rodeo and then back, of course, after. So all this information is on our website at worldsOldestRodeo.com. We will have sandwich boards up at these different locations where you can snap a photo of that schedule. But very excited about it. I would highly recommend people take the bus, and then it'll drop you right into the vendor area to go right into the rodeo. Very convenient. So please use the shuttle.
I think it's going to make it just life so much easier for everyone. It's going to drop traffic from Prescott Valley up through 69 into town. It's going to reduce it a lot. And for families, for family reunions, groups of people that have bought their tickets together, maybe they're out, they're downtown, they've had an afternoon meal, they're like, okay, let's get on the shuttle. And if they're staying at a downtown hotel, the shuttle service is going to be perfect, because you're going to park downtown, eat and drink downtown, sleep downtown, and take the shuttle back and forth to the rodeo. And you're walking distance to some of the other events happening downtown. We were just talking, isn't there a big dance that's held every year downtown?
Yeah, so there's a dance July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and it's in the parking lot there in front of Sprouts.
And the old train station, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the old Santa Fe Railroad.
Yep, right back in there. And so that's a lot of fun to hit the street dance. I want to mention to make sure everybody knows the parade is on July 4th, the Saturday, July 4th, 9 a.m. And as you know, Stuart, you can't just show up and get a good seat at 8:45.
No.
So I know people who have put out chairs the night before. I know that people get there at 4 or 5 in the morning. So anyway, lots of great places to view the parade, particularly if you're in the shade or bring your easy up. But I would recommend getting there early.
You know, that parade to me defines the 4th of July. Right here in Prescott, they're in Arizona. I love the Rose Parade growing up in Los Angeles. Maybe you turn on the TV on Thanksgiving and you watch the Macy's Day Parade, and everyone has their favorite. But to me, if there's one parade in the United States on the 4th of July, it's our parade here. And this year we got about 125 entrants.
That sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we are the second largest parade in Arizona, second only to the Fiesta Bowl.
Right, which, is when we predate the Fiesta Bowl parade. We're first in that line as well. And this year, we've been working hard with the rodeo parade organizers, because we're going to debut for the first time, and it's in 25 years, the Bud Brown Arizona Bicentennial Wagon. I have to thank the questers here and locally, Thumb Butte and Yavapai chapters, the state Arizona questers, as well as Jimmy Cordier and Pinion Painting, and our local volunteers. We have restored the Bud Brown Bicentennial Wagon, which he drove from Yuma to Chicago before it was put on a train for Valley Forge. And in 1976, wagons from all across America converged together to celebrate the bicentennial. It's been in our transportation hall for many years, and it's going to join the farm wagon, which we've restored with the Model T farm truck, which the Prescott Antique Auto Club is currently restoring, plus Charlotte's car. And I think we're going to have 4 or 5 on horseback, plus some other antique cars. We're coming big, and we're celebrating America, red, white, and blue. But I think people are going to just be amazed when they see that covered wagon and seeing it back on the street for our community and our state.
I remember seeing that several years in a row with Friendly Pines Camp.
That's right.
In the parade. And so I have fond memories of seeing that wagon. It'll be good to see it again.
And, I love the parade because it just represents such a cross-section of our community. We're going to have a lot of horses, I understand, this year in the parade, which is wonderful. We're going to have a lot of youth organizations. New organizations have been formed just to be part of this parade. Heritage groups, I think the FIPN, Western Heritage Center, a new group, the 1888 Americana Society, is going to be part of the parade. I know that there's the rodeo royalty is right up front, and is that same stock company bringing, or the same company from Utah bringing their wagon and their who's coming down from Utah?
So it's actually not from Utah. We used to have a group from Utah do the hitch and the wagon.
Right.
Now it's Broken Spoke Clydesdales.
That's right.
Out of my home state, Kansas.
Ah, fantastic.
I believe it's Winfield, but I'm not sure on that. But
Thanks
anyway,
for correcting me on that.
They're out of Kansas, and they will be in the parade as well. And that's always a great show at the rodeo when they come.
Don't all the directors get in the wagon,
Yes.
and then you've got the royalty and Jim Dewey Brown, the pickup men. You said we got some new pickup men this year too?
We do. Yeah. Cody and Jay, they're new to us, as well as our stock contractor is new this year, which is a big deal, Stuart. For over 60 years we had Vold Rodeo. And so this year we have a new stock contractor, Double J Rodeo. And so we're excited about it. It's a big change for us, but I know that they have some great stock there, so we're looking forward to having them.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing them buck out. And we're going to take a quick break and come back and talk more rodeo with Greg Mangarelli here on Arizona Roundup. Welcome back to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum in Prescott, Arizona. We've been spending a great afternoon with Greg Mangarelli of the world's oldest rodeo, also known as Prescott Frontier Days, world's oldest rodeo. Greg, I can't wait for this week every year. For me, it's as exciting as the holiday season, Christmas every year. The 4th in Prescott, there's such an energy here. And we have people that come from all over the world, all across the United States, both competitors and visitors for the rodeo. And it's a time where you can immerse yourself in northern central Arizona and make the rodeo and all the experience of Prescott the center of your vacation here. Tell us a little bit about the visitors and how many people come every year, and then we're going to talk a little bit of what you can do here that week while in Prescott.
Yeah, no, amazingly enough, our little rodeo here attracts people. Last year, I'll just tell you, 46 states, and that's real typical, is we'll have a lot of Southern California, but from nearly every state across the union here, we'll have represented at the rodeo. And then we have 17 countries, and you'll find that Europe and especially Germany love coming to our rodeo. And I think now with National Geographic advertising for us, that's only going to increase. We'll have about 38,000 fans come through on our 8 performances. So packed house. We've been sold out for, I believe, the last 4 or 5 years, and I expect we'll be sold out again. So make sure you get your tickets soon. But, you know, a great economic impact for our city, as you know, Stuart, where in just a week, several $1 million will come through it. I know many businesses really appreciate that week, kind of hang their hat on it.
Yeah,
right?
Restaurants, hotels, gift shops, antique shops, gas stations, bars. People are thirsty, and it's hot, and you want to have that Western experience downtown on Whiskey Row. Walk into the Palace or Matt's or one of all the other wonderful watering holes downtown, and we just have a renaissance happening across Prescott. And what's interesting is all of us here in the community embracing the world's oldest rodeo, embracing the values and the heritage of Prescott Frontier Days. And here at Sharlot Hall Museum, we're adding something on the 3rd that complements the Downtown Partnerships Arts and Crafts Show on the Plaza, the Kitty Parade that the Kiwanis puts on. We're starting American Heritage Day on July 3rd. It's going to be a standing event every year to complement the rodeo parade, which is always on Saturday. Folks coming up here with their families or visiting families. The event's going to be from 10 to 3 on Saturday. Excuse me. It is free for children 17 and under, free for members, and $5 for adults. We're going to be serving a hot dog lunch with chips and watermelon. There'll be cold water and drinks that will also be for free. We are going to have the Phoenix Brass Band. We will have pioneer reenactors, military reenactors, the Sons of American Revolution. And one of the things we're going to try to do is, and we did it last year for the first time, we are going to help reenact the first 4th of July in Prescott, Arizona in 1864. And I will be reading the first portion of the Declaration of Independence, following Candace Devine singing the national anthem and the Posting of the Colors by SAR. And we're going to have Patrick Henry's speech. And then we're going to have a kitty parade, old-fashioned games, red, white, and blue all over the campus. And we really believe that it's the right time for Sharlot Hall to be part of the celebration here in Prescott and do something that it celebrates the values of family, and it allows people to come up on Thursday. They've got the rodeo dance. They got the night performances, stay overnight for the parade the next day, Saturday morning, and then go to one of the rodeo performances on the 4th or the 5th. And I think the fireworks this year are going to be at Pioneer Park. I think prescottaz.gov, right? You can go experience Prescott. You can look up everything happening in Prescott. And worldsoldestrodeo.com. You have a list of events that happen all week. There's mutton busting. There's things that are happening during the day as well as the night. I don't know, if you don't have your hotel room yet, there's still probably some campgrounds available. And the Quad Cities, there's people that are ready to invite you to be a guest from Chino Valley out into Prescott Valley, Dewey Humboldt, Camp Verde. But this is America's 250, so people better get their hotel rooms quick.
Yeah, I would agree. you're talking about what you're doing here at Sharlot Hall, and that's amazing. And I think everywhere you look around the city, everybody's going to plus up because it's the rodeo and because it's America 250. Whether you're at the Museum of Indigenous People or you're down at the Western Heritage Center, you're out at the Fippen. You know, there's so many good museums here. You could spend a week just going through the museums. But the Kitty Parade, which is the day before our parade on July 3rd, is downtown. You have a boot race after the parade. I mean, kind of, you're just going to fall into things if you're just walking around downtown.
Right. And that parade, the boot race follows that right on Whiskey Road. That's been a tradition for decades. And then isn't there also a fireman's, isn't there a hose pull or isn't there another
hose race?
Hose race?
Yeah. Yeah. There, you know, we can't list everything that's going on. What we're saying is you need to be here for a long weekend. And if you're in the downtown area, you're going to bump into all these events.
Right. Now, is there anything you can preview that at the rodeo this year? I know in the past, like I think we had the trick riders last year. It was dedicated, rodeo last year was dedicated to women in rodeo. We had this wonderful group of trick riders out of California that are world famous. Is there anything you can preview? Or
Yes.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always do a specialty act. Not every rodeo does that. You know, we've had some amazing specialty acts in the past, and this is something Jim Dewey Brown works really hard on and contracts well into the future. This year we have Ryder and Bethany Kisner, and they are trick riding and roping and a really special specialty act. You're really going to kick out of that. I mentioned the Broken Spoke Clydesdales. They'll be in the rodeo as well. We'll have, we always kick off with the wild horse race, which is one of my favorites.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Where there's too many things to watch all at once,
and
right?
you better be paying attention and in your seats because it goes from the national anthem, the prayer of the national anthem, welcome, it's the world's oldest rodeo, and boom, out of the gates.
Yeah, that's
Here
right.
they come.
That's right. And then we have kind of a secret happening on Monday night, and this will, benefit those. I said every performance is the same. This is one little extra thing that we're doing Monday. It involves our Museum of Indigenous People, and we're very excited about what they're bringing to the rodeo on June 29th. I can't reveal the whole thing, but if you show up on Monday, you're going to see something really special.
I got tickets. My wife and I are going to that performance, so
Perfect.
I'm looking forward to that. Let's talk a little bit, remind people about this year's schedule. It is June 29th to July 5th. You have evening performances Monday through Friday. Saturday, 2 performances, the famous matinee performance following the parade with a night performance on July 4th, and then the Sunday performance, which closes out this year's 139th annual World's Oldest Rodeo. And again, if you want tickets, you need to go to worldsoldestrodeo.com and make sure, take your time when you're going to buy your tickets. Is there a phone number also on the flyer that if somebody's like, I don't trust the internet, I want to call and buy my tickets, can you still do that?
Absolutely. So some people will either call because that's how they like to do business, or if you're local, you can come to our rodeo ticket office. It's open Monday through Friday right there on the rodeo grounds. It's on the east end of the main parking lot, right near the main gate when you go into the rodeo. So you can go there to buy tickets in person, or you can call 928-445-3103 and talk to somebody there, and they can get you set up.
I think that's great because, lots of people these days, they want to go online, they want to buy their tickets, but still having the personal nature, how many of us want to buy a baseball ticket or football tickets, and you're like, I think this is going to work. And we know worldsoldestrodeo.com works, but if you really need to call someone, 928-445-3103, or go down in person to the rodeo grounds, the world's oldest rodeo grounds here in Prescott. And if you're looking for information on what's happening here at Sharlot Hall, charlottehallmuseum.org. That's charlottehallmuseum.org. And we know this relationship, and we'll talk a little bit about this, that Sharlot Hall herself was a ranch girl, a great supporter of the rodeo, and her I call her acolyte, Grace Sparks, very involved with the rodeo, and I just think it's the partnerships of our cultural organizations that keep our history and heritage alive. It's something that makes Prescott so special. We are everybody's hometown. We are home to the world's oldest rodeo. We're celebrating 250 years of America's freedom. It's going to be a very special week here in Prescott and for America. And Greg, I'm so glad you're here on the show, and we're very honored to have you help be one of our spokesmen and our leaders of this tradition of the world's oldest rodeo. Thank you for your service to our community and the rodeo.
Well, we have a great team. I'm glad to play a small part of that team, and it's a real privilege.
And are you still looking for volunteers? I mean, and Jim Dewey Brown, our general manager, he is the face of the rodeo this year on our posters. But I know we've got 3.5 weeks, and we still need volunteers. So if you want to volunteer, how many people? World'sOldestRodeo.com.
Yep. Yeah, you can go to world'soldestrodeo.com. This month, every Friday evening, you can come to the Freeman building. They're right in the heart of the rodeo grounds, and we have our member meeting there. That's a great way to connect with people who can help you get involved with the rodeo every Friday evening this month. But yes, we require about 500 volunteers. It's quite amazing. And
all ages, right?
All ages, everyone's welcome. Families have volunteered. It's a great way locally, Stuart, to really experience the rodeo at a deeper level. Mm-hmm. To be in the stands and to experience it is awesome, but to now feel a part of what's happening and you're on the team, it's something really special, and I encourage people to volunteer.
Well, Greg, we appreciate everything you're doing for Prescott Frontier Days and the world's oldest rodeo. Thanks for taking the time off today. We know it's a busy season as we're getting ready for this great week in Prescott, Arizona. Thank you, Greg Mangarelli, being part of Arizona Roundup, and we will have you back on here very soon. Make sure and go to world'soldestrodeo.com and charlottehallmuseum.org to learn all you need to know to get ready for the 4th of July in Prescott, Arizona. Thank you.